You're talking about intuitive fasting. Can you give us just a little bit of what that's about?
hmm Yeah. So the book is, as anything that I write, the last two books before this, they're just outpourings of my clinical practice. So even right now, I'm in between consulting patients, 10+ hour days. I started one of the first telehealth functional medicine centers in the world over a decade ago. So that's my main focus. Like, that's the context of where I'm coming from, is I get to see labs and tons of different types of people all around the world get healthy with different tools within the functional medicine toolbox. So, this concept of intuitive fasting is something that I've been really working on with patients for a long time. And it's paradoxical on purpose, right? I mean, that's why I called it intuitive fasting, because to the modern Western metabolism, fasting will be anything but intuitive. And it's really a conversation about two things: metabolic flexibility, which is physiological infrastructure, if you will, or a foundation for authentic mindful eating, because you're building satiety signaling and blood sugar balance and lowered inflammation levels and proper gut brain axis signaling. But it's also from a mental, emotional, even spiritual perspective, what's our relationship with these things? And can we bring a more mindful approach to fasting? Because you have these two worlds. You have this intuitive eating world or mindful eating world on one end, and then you have fasting, which is typically the biohacking and the alpha and the more is better, and in these extreme sports of wellness, if you will, that I think the fasting community really focuses on. But I think that the context of this is somewhere in the middle, just like what I try to do with ketotarian, of plant-based and keto. And how can you make something that works for the average person? How can you really make something sustainable that leverages the amazing benefits of fasting, but in a way that's accessible for people and sustainable for people, and it's a healthy approach for people? So those are the conversations that I'm having with intuitive fasting. It's a mindful approach to intermittent fasting, but it's also building metabolic flexibility so you can have authentic intuitive fasting and authentic mindful eating, meaning that fasting and eating will be more intuitive as you gain metabolic flexibility, not because it's some restrictive obsessive thing. You can just go longer without eating because your blood sugar is more stable, because you have more agency over your health, and you can eat food because you enjoy it. Food doesn't control you. Your cravings don't control you. Your insatiable hangriness doesn't control you. And that's what the other aspect of intuitive fasting has what it's about.